report.
Well, you're gonna get a break. You're gonna get a break and get to do that unless they have something hot for us. It is, are we rolling? It's officially 9:30, so we'll call the work session to order, but we have nobody scheduled. So does anybody have anything that you want to talk about that's not on our agenda? But we have nobody scheduled coming in. But this is the first one we've had because January was a totally goofy schedule with the organizational meeting and all. So we didn't want to not have it. Anybody got anything for the good of the order?
This is our favorite gallery. Somebody has something to talk about. Yeah, it's good.
I have a couple of questions about the East Tower study.
There's a surprise.
Yes. I read most of it. I haven't had a chance to complete it. But at the bottom of page 47, in the letter from the one construction engineer person, it bothered me, the statement about not meeting code.
I think I have that highlighted in mine too. I didn't mind on my desk.
47, you say?
47.
Page 47.
47 is a map.
47 is a map.
Or a
My
drawing,
pages are
excuse me,
numbered
or-
differently then. It was a letter from a construction person.
Yeah,
Yeah, the guy that went through and did
I don't know where it's
I
at.
read through it last night twice, but
yeah.
Yeah, on my copy, I got it off the internet, so the pages are perhaps numbered
Yeah.
differently. But I was concerned by that particular statement.
I remember the letter. I don't know where it's at.
well, I think there are two quick answers. I mean, from my thinking about this over the last week or so. One is that, there's going to be a phase one that's necessary to environmental study. I don't know even if they mention it here, but before you do anything to reconstruct, you have to have a phase one. So I think that'll answer a few questions. And two is that, related to that, I did make a few phone calls regarding, I think that they talked about the reconstruction cost being somewhere about $140 a square foot. My research at this point shows a number significantly higher than that, and I'm not gonna say what exactly the number is, because I'm not that good
Right.
about construction, but remember, you're talking about 22,000 square foot. Hypothetically, if that number is $100 more a square foot, as quick math, that's $3.2 million additional.
Right.
So, that is somewhat related to your question, I think.
Yes.
And this
Yeah, it's
is-
in
this
there.
is
It says
the-
it's how the way it's done. I think that starts here. It says it is a problem to make the building fit into today's building code simply because the construction between the walls and framing elements done with this building was constructed are inadequate for transfer of lateral loads through the building to its foundation system.
Yes.
Assuming that
yes.
line is what you have.
Yes, that's what set off an alarm.
Well,
And someplace else too, there was something about the finished construction at 250 pounds per square foot. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, some of us on 1 square foot are going to be over that limit.
yeah, I think that everybody knows that, about the meeting Thursday.
If not, go ahead and tell them.
Okay. If there is-
You're on a roll. Go.
The cat is now out of the bag.
No, I think it's been, I don't know if it's been in the paper at
Yes,
all.
it was.
Okay. Well, anyways, it is open to the public, and we have invited all the major players. I mean, everybody that can answer these kinds of questions.
Okay.
Theoretically are gonna be there now, but keep in mind, it's gonna be a joint meeting between the city council and the commissioners, but at this point in time, the format does not allow the public to speak.
Correct.
Other than elected officials. So, that's, hopefully, if you have questions, most of those, if we're intelligent enough to ask the right questions, most of those questions would be answered.
Okay. Another concern is the facade of the building. According to what I read, the entry will be at ground level and they will remove the steps and the present entryway, which in my mind is going to make it look a lot like the architecture when they put the Goofy Tower instead of the old one on the old courthouse. I think it's going to destroy the architectural integrity of the look of the building, the aesthetic aspects. I'm not an engineer or an architect or anything like that, but I think it's going to look ugly.
I missed that where it said they were moving the steps.
Yes.
I don't remember, I mean, I read the
Entry at
thing.
ground level, which means into a dark basement with no natural lighting.
Did it say removing them or just planning on another
Remove.
entrance? Remove. I missed
I'm
that.
pretty sure I read that.
I missed that.
Yeah, I read it too, and basically, I was wondering if you were gonna do it in present steps out there, you know, which is up off the ground level.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they were gonna put a ramp in there somehow, and then just like she said, it would change the looks of the place. If you ramped it, and if you cut it down, it's gonna change the look of the
Well,
place.
yeah, the front, pardon me, reminded me of the look of a child with their two front teeth missing, you know.
That's what you want for Christmas, right?
Yeah, because they had no sketches, but in the words someplace,
Yeah.
that's what it said. And
Well, I
just-
focused on the numbers, so I
Yeah.
probably didn't read some of that stuff very through. I mean, I read through it, but I didn't read
Yeah,
it.
I scanned a lot of it too,
Yeah.
because.
Well, hopefully, all these questions will be answered. I do know that part of the format, I believe, you know, we're talking about how we're gonna do it, but people have an opportunity to write questions that won't necessarily be answered that night, but somebody will get back,
Okay,
hopefully. You know how that goes, but in theory, that's what the idea is.
okay, yeah, I
It's a
know
good
you
concept.
can't
We used to do that
allow
with
public
ordinance.
comment at this meeting because
Well, we didn't have time.
at that meeting.
Right, because as you know, nobody has all the answers, but hopefully, you know, if you get a question and you take some time and look at it and come up with the proper answer.
Okay.
What we're gonna try to do, my goal, at least Thursday, is to take all the emotion out and just talk about the facts.
Right.
You know, this is a number, is that a true number? This is what the design looks like, is that true? You know, how does this compare to other studies that you've done? As much factual information as possible, you know, because I know there'll be some opinions, and
Well, yeah, yeah.
we all know about opinions.
I had a question of somebody who was there the other night, a city council member, my city councilman. And I asked him a couple of questions about it, you know, I said something about the wood floors and stuff, and I know you've seen some of the pictures of some of the wood floors, they hadn't really refinished, they really look nice. And there's a couple of them, they didn't exist practically, and then one or two, they had plywood laying down there. And I said, he said, well, that's terrazzo floor in there. What? You know, I knew there was wood in a lot of that. He said a terrazzo floor, so anyhow, I goes looking through all the pictures, and there's a terrazzo floor in there. The terrazzo floor is laid over corrugated steel. It's not even laid over anything sound, and it was broke out at one time. I don't remember you seen that or not in the
Yeah,
picture.
some of those
And
pictures
that
were
terrazzo
scary.
floor was out in the lobby, in the hallways, if I'm right? And that's about it, wasn't it?
That was my picture. I'm not familiar with the building.
Oh, I thought you taught in there.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, I
One
thought,
of my sisters did.
oh, okay.
But not I. I really only was.
Any questions about structural integrity, I believe, will be answered, or many of those questions will be answered Thursday.
Okay.
And then another thing I've noticed too, a lot of the floor beams, they had one spot there where they showed a steel beam going through there, which wasn't the original beam. And then they had the floor beams cut out to take the steel beam, and so the net floor beam was about half the size of the full
Yeah,
floor
there's a
beam.
picture of that.
And that's right out on the end, which probably don't hurt it that much, but I think it's still gotta take away a little bit of the integrity of that
Yeah.
floor beam.
Yeah.
And if one of them suckers goes, goodbye, you know.
That's a good point. Good point. Yeah, I think Thursday meeting will be helpful for both, obviously for this board, and I would think for city council. I'm not aware of how much discussions they've had, you know, as a group, but I'm guessing this might be the first with some of the experts on hand and that we can ask questions of. Right now, everybody's been through them, highlighted them, has some things they want to figure out and understand better, so we can get to the decision-making aspect of.
Yeah, I mean, all the discussions lately have been with the Gossman report, and obviously the Burgess and Nyepel report has been around almost a year now. March 5th, I think, is the day we got it last year. So I think that it's good for everyone to bring themselves up to date on that, and just please remember that that was funded by the state, theoretically third party uninterested, and at least in my humble opinion, it's a little more thorough than the report that we have from Gossman.
And that meeting is at the Educational Service Center out there, starting at 5:30 Thursday, so.
Please come, bring a friend.
You don't want my friends.
Hey, you gotta have, as long as you have friends, you know, I mean.
Yeah, you're right. I can't bring anybody.
You said
That's the
you
way
didn't
it
want
goes.
your friends. Well, if we have nothing else, we go to the order, we'll just recess and officially start at our advertised time of 10 o'clock with the regular session. That's what we'll do. Now, if you were gonna go schmooze with the recorder, you go right ahead.